So just because the majority say something does not mean that that is correct because the mistake could have come in early on. There's two primary theories for how do we go about, as Jack said, comparing all of the manuscripts that we have together and figuring out what the original said. One theory is called the majority text theory. And the majority text says, let's compare all of them, whichever reading shows up most often. So in the majority of manuscripts, that's the one that we're going to use. Now, there's an inherent problem with that. And the problem
Mhm.
is, just imagine this with me. So Paul writes his letter to the Romans. It's copied and copied and copied and copied. But somewhere early on, say second century, somebody makes a copy and makes a mistake. Something gets changed accidentally in the second century. And then that manuscript with the mistake in it gets copied. And then it carries the mistake over. And that one gets copied. And that
Mhm.
one gets copied. And this happens from the second century through the 15th century. What's going to happen is the majority of copies of Romans are going to include that mistake. So just because the majority say something does not mean that that is correct because the mistake could have come in early on. And so to me, that seems to indicate that earlier sources are going to be much more important than something from the 15th century or the 14th century or something like that. So the process of weighing evidence and saying, well, certain evidence is more important than other evidence. We're not just going to compare all of them and see what the majority say, but we're going to weigh it. That is called an eclectic text approach. And I think that is by far the best way to go about ascertaining what the original text says.